On December 12th, 2025, I was scrolling through the comments on my Scratch profile when I noticed this. 5 comments with text that seemed like gibberish, 4 of them being different strings of text. Then I noticed the date, 2 years ago, when I was in 5th or 6th grade. During that time, I used to mash my keyboard when I'm bored. But the more I looked at this, the more it felt different, strange. It felt like it's meant to be a secret message or code. So I put it through a cipher identifier, but nothing came close to a match. I realized that this code was not named or defined. In fact, it was not even real. But despite all odds, I was determined to solve this code. To start, we first need to find the evidence that either rules out the text being gibberish or at least makes it the least likely case. And I know a way to do that. We have to use patterns. What I did first was to input the code into a character counter. And then, by looking at the number of characters, every time I pasted a string of the code into the counter, as we see here, it increases by 20 characters. From this, we can deduce that each text string, or each comment, is 20 characters long. Even though this is strong evidence, this is not enough to prove that this is not randomly typed. I would have to find more patterns and more evidence. I decided to look at the code directly. I counted the amount of numbers and letters for each different string. For the first one, it had 9 numbers and 11 letters. The second one had 15 numbers and 5 letters. The third one had 12 numbers and 8 letters. And the fourth one had 14 numbers and 6 letters. But sadly, there doesn't seem to be a pattern of the amount of letters and numbers. So I guess we'll have to find a different pattern. Wait, go back. There is a pattern with this. If we look at the placement of the numbers and letters, it looks like a familiar 2-symbol code you might know. I translated these placements into 2 rounds. One where the numbers are the dots and the letters are the dashes, and another with the opposite substitutions. After translating the codes, we end up with 4 5-letter codes on each round. This is good evidence, although I'm not sure whether we'll discover something with it, but it's better to put to the side for now to use later on. For finding more patterns, I decided to check the dates of the messages. And I realized that the way I put the messages before was not in chronological order, but it was easy to fix by just flip-flopping them. But I found something stranger. All of the messages were sent 2 years ago, either on March 13th or March 16th. But when I checked the date of the message sent, it was 2024, which was 1 year ago. And we know that Scratch does not round dates. But this didn't seem useful to prove that this was a code and not gibberish. I checked what day it was when the messages were sent. The ones sent on March 13th were a Wednesday. The ones sent on March 16th were a Saturday. For March 13th, I was in school, so I couldn't have been keyboard matching, else I would have gotten detention from the teachers. But for Saturday, the messages looked very similar to the ones on March 13th, so I probably carried on the same method on that day too. Now, this completes our final piece of evidence to prove that this is a code. All we now need to do is start solving it. What I first did was to translate the codes using the 5 closest matching ones from the cipher identifier. I split this translation into 2 rounds, to translate into chronological order and reverse chronological. The reason why I selected specific closest matches is because hexadecimal data and hexadecimal are the same thing, and ASCII code is just numbers, which wouldn't help us in solving this code. So I left them out and selected the other top 5 matches. I tried base 45 decoding first. Using the 2 rounds of order, I got this for the first round and this for the second round. This looks like complete gibberish, so I decided to scrap it. I tried base 32 next, but again for both the rounds, it gave me gibberish. I was excited for hexadecimal because it looked like it might have a chance, but I was wrong because it is also nothing close to readable text. But we can try to pull some letters from it. We have B, E acute, O acute, X, T, O, I acute, F, N, U, A tilde, O tilde, and E umlaut. With B, U, and T, we can spell but, which doesn't make sense to us right now, but maybe later. So we have to dig further to find out. I continued with the translations. Base 64 gave me gibberish with letters that gave me hope, but was to no avail when making a word. Base 62, on the other hand, didn't help either, just gibberish again. I was getting frustrated and was about to lose hope, realizing that this did not bring any major leads. But that soon changed, because I learned about a code called a keyboard shift cipher. A keyboard shift cipher is where you type the message you want to decrypt in a pattern of key presses. Then you move or shift the rows or columns of the keys, hence the name, up, down, left, or right. But when you do this, the key press pattern will be the same. So when you enter that pattern again, new letters and keys will show. This encryption technique can also be done with different keyboards, such as the standard QWERTY keyboard, AZERTY, Quartz, Dvorak, and Colmac. After entering the code into the keyboard shift decoder, I scrolled through the results for a long time to find anything similar to a word. And then, while doing the reverse chronological round, I found it. I am. This was our biggest lead yet, and we could form a clause, which is, but I am. But we need more words to complete this and figure out the code. I racked my brain for a long time trying to figure out how to find more words, and then it hit me. Remember when you translated the code into Morse code and ended up with 8 5-letter words? Well, I tried to combine the words together, and then I put in a cipher identifier. A cipher called a theme cipher was the first result, which then I translated using that cipher and brute force decryption. And the first result looks very similar to a word. Can you guess what word? Mistake. Now we had a complete sentence, which is, but I am mistake. If we make this grammatically correct, we end up with, but I am a mistake. Now we know what the code says, but why does it say that? What is its motive? For finding that out, I looked at the time frame, March 13th through 16th, 2024, when I was in 6th grade. And in 6th grade, I'd kept a diary storing many events of my life, so I must have stored the reason I wrote that message. And sure enough, I did. On March 10th, my mom had a heated argument with my dad and went to live at her friend's house for some time. And she came back on the 17th, which fits the time frame of the messages. The pieces start to fit together and make sense. I always used to think that the reason for my mom and dad's argument was because of me. I thought it was my fault. But then why did I write it so encryptedly? That's because I didn't want anyone to know except me that I felt that way, because if my parents found out, they'll feel bad, and that's the last thing I wanted. This is what I think I was thinking that day I wrote the message. Realizing this, I decided to do one last thing. I'm sorry to see what you had to go through. You were not a mistake. You were meant to exist and live in this world. Many people love you. You have improved a lot in the future. And you are not a mistake, but a blessing.